In 2008, a 4chan user browsing through unsecured webcam feeds stumbled upon something that would become one of the internet's most enduring mysteries. The webcam showed a small, cluttered apartment in South Korea. In the center of the frame lay a woman, motionless on the floor, surrounded by handwritten signs in Korean. She appeared so still that the user initially thought they were witnessing a death. But then she moved. The woman awakened, noticed the camera, and quickly hid behind one of her signs. The 4chan user posted their discovery to the paranormal board, and within hours, hundreds of people were watching this mysterious Korean woman's life unfold in real time. She would sleep for extraordinary periods, sometimes up to 20 hours at a stretch, in strange positions that suggested something was deeply wrong. The woman became known as Chip-chan, and for over 15 years, she has maintained a continuous live stream of her existence, making claims that have captivated and disturbed internet communities worldwide. Welcome to Vanishing Threads. Today we're exploring the Chip-chan mystery, one of the internet's most unsettling, long-running enigmas. We'll examine the documented facts of this case, the theories that have emerged, and what this phenomenon reveals about surveillance culture, mental health, and the ethics of watching someone's life unfold online. Chip-chan, whose real name remains unknown, is a South Korean woman believed to be in her 40s or 50s. She has been live streaming her daily life continuously since at least 2008, though she claims to have been broadcasting since 2006. Her streams are accessible through various platforms and have attracted viewers from around the world who watch her sleep, eat, and move about her small apartment. The apartment itself tells a story of isolation and distress. The walls are covered with handwritten signs in Korean, many of which have been translated by Korean-speaking internet users. These signs contain accusations, pleas for help, and detailed claims about her situation. The living space is cramped and cluttered, with evidence of long-term habitation by someone who rarely leaves. Chip-chan's daily routine is remarkably consistent and deeply troubling to observers. She typically sleeps for 12 to 20 hours per day, far exceeding normal sleep requirements. When awake, she spends time on her computer, rearranging her signs, or lying motionless on the floor. She appears unkempt and lethargic, with visible skin conditions and wounds that she occasionally documents by taking photographs or videos of herself. The most disturbing aspect of Chip-chan's broadcasts are the claims she makes about her situation. Through her signs and occasional emails, she alleges that she is being held captive and controlled by a corrupt police officer she refers to only as P. According to her statements, this individual has implanted a tracking and mind control device in her body, which she calls a verichip after the commercial RFID implant technology. Chip-chan claims that this device allows P to monitor her location and behavior and to force her to sleep for extended periods. She alleges that she cannot leave her apartment or live a normal life because of this technological control. The handwritten signs that cover her walls often contain messages directed at P, pleading for her release or documenting alleged abuses. These claims have generated extensive discussion and analysis within internet communities. Some viewers interpret her statements literally, believing she may be a genuine victim of high-tech harassment or an experimental mind control program. Others suggest her claims are the product of mental illness, particularly conditions that can involve paranoid delusions about technological surveillance or control. The psychological concept of gang stalking provides one framework for understanding Chip-chan's allegations. Gang stalking refers to the belief that one is being followed, monitored, and harassed by an organized group of people. Individuals who believe they are being gang stalked often report that their persecutors use advanced technology to monitor and influence their behavior. These beliefs are generally considered symptoms of paranoid disorders rather than reflections of actual persecution. However, the case's complexity is heightened by the documented history of actual surveillance and experimentation programs conducted by various governments throughout the 20th century. The CIA's MK-Ultra program, for example, involved genuine attempts to develop mind control techniques, though these programs were far less sophisticated than what Chip-chan describes and were officially discontinued decades ago. The verichip that Chip-chan references is a real technology. Verichip Corporation developed RFID implants for medical identification purposes, though the company ceased operations in 2010. These chips are passive devices that can only be read by specialized scanners at close range. They do not have the capability to control behavior or induce sleep, as Chip-chan alleges. Korean-speaking internet users have translated many of Chip-chan's signs and provided cultural context for her situation. According to these translations, she describes a complex narrative involving police corruption, forced medical procedures, and ongoing surveillance. She claims to have been subjected to this treatment for over 20 years, predating the widespread availability of the internet and live streaming technology. The translations also reveal details about her personal history. She appears to have worked as a teacher before her current situation began, and makes references to family members, though no family or friends have ever appeared in her streams or contacted her publicly. This isolation is particularly striking in Korean culture, where family connections typically remain strong, even in cases of mental illness. The ethical dimensions of Chip-chan's case are profound and troubling. Thousands of people regularly watch her streams, effectively surveilling someone who may be experiencing severe mental distress. The voyeuristic aspects of this phenomenon raise questions about the responsibilities of platforms, viewers, and internet communities when confronted with potential mental health crises. Some viewers have attempted to help Chip-chan by contacting Korean authorities, sending care packages, or trying to communicate with her through email. However, these interventions have generally been unsuccessful or have allegedly resulted in increased distress for Chip-chan, who interprets outside contact as evidence of the surveillance she claims to be experiencing. The case highlights the challenges of distinguishing between genuine distress calls and the symptoms of mental illness in online contexts. If Chip-chan is indeed being held against her will and controlled through technological means, then her streams represent one of the longest-running documented abductions in history. If her claims are the product of mental illness, then her streams document a tragic case of untreated psychiatric distress being broadcast for public consumption. Korean mental health professionals and social workers have reportedly been made aware of Chip-chan's situation on multiple occasions, though documentation of specific intervention attempts is limited. It's worth noting that awareness of Chip-chan's case within South Korea itself appears to be relatively low, despite her international internet following. This limited domestic awareness may complicate efforts to provide assistance through local mental health or social services. The technical aspects of Chip-chan's streams have also attracted analysis. She has maintained continuous broadcasting for over 15 years, requiring considerable technical knowledge and resources. Her ability to keep the streams running suggests a level of functionality that some argue contradicts claims of severe incapacitation or external control. The streaming setup itself has evolved over the years, with different camera angles and technical configurations appearing in her broadcasts. This suggests ongoing technical maintenance and adjustment, which would typically require the streamer to have access to equipment and internet services. Critics of the captivity theory point to this technical competence as evidence that she has more autonomy than her claims suggest. However, supporters of her allegations argue that modern surveillance technology could theoretically allow remote technical management of her streams, and that her apparent technical abilities might be the result of years of forced learning under duress. The international attention that Chip-chan has attracted has made her case a touchstone for discussions about surveillance, privacy, and mental health in the digital age. Her streams predated the widespread adoption of social media and the current era of voluntary self-surveillance through platforms like Instagram and TikTok, making her an early example of continuous live broadcasting. Some technology researchers have studied her case as an example of how surveillance paranoia manifests in digital environments. Her claims about RFID implants and remote monitoring reflect real anxieties about emerging technologies, even if the specific allegations appear technically implausible. The case also illustrates the globalization of internet culture and the ways in which local situations can become international phenomena. Chip-chan's situation, rooted in Korean society and involving Korean cultural contexts, has been interpreted and discussed by English-speaking internet communities with limited understanding of her cultural background. Documentation of Chip Chan's case has been maintained by various internet communities and individual researchers who have archived her streams, translated her signs, and tracked changes in her situation over time. These archives represent an unusual form of digital anthropology, documenting one person's life in extraordinary detail over more than a decade. The archived materials reveal patterns in her behavior and changes in her living situation over time. Some periods show apparent improvements in her condition, with increased activity and better self-care, while other periods document apparent deterioration. These fluctuations could support either interpretation of her situation, whether as evidence of varying degrees of external control or as typical patterns of mental health condition progression. Attempts to verify Chip Chan's identity and situation through official channels have been largely unsuccessful. Korean privacy laws and cultural attitudes towards mental illness make it difficult for international observers to obtain official information about her case. This lack of verification has allowed speculation and conspiracy theories to flourish while preventing definitive resolution of her situation. The phenomenon has influenced internet culture in ways that extend beyond her immediate case. Chip Chan has been referenced in discussions about digital surveillance, mental health stigma, and the ethics of online voyeurism. Her case has become a cautionary tale about the potential dangers of internet fame and the responsibilities of platforms and communities when dealing with the vulnerable individuals. Recent developments in her case continue to generate discussion among her long-term observers. Changes in her streaming setup, variations in her apparent health, and new signs or messages continue to be documented and analyzed by communities that have followed her situation for years. The Chip Chan mystery represents one of the internet's most complex and ethically challenging phenomena. Whether interpreted as a case of technological control, mental illness, performance art, or something else entirely, her continuous broadcasts raise fundamental questions about surveillance, privacy, mental health, and the responsibilities we bear as observers of others' lives. The case forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the ethics of watching someone who may be experiencing severe distress, the challenges of providing help to people who may not want or trust assistance, and the ways in which internet culture can both support and exploit vulnerable individuals. As Chip Chan's streams continue, her case remains an unsolved mystery that reflects broader anxieties about technology, surveillance, and isolation in the modern world. Her story serves as a reminder that behind every internet phenomenon is a real person whose life and well-being extend far beyond the screen. The ongoing nature of her situation means that this mystery continues to unfold in real time, watched by communities of observers who remain divided between concern, curiosity, and helplessness. Whether her claims reflect reality or represent the symptoms of mental illness, Chip Chan's case stands as one of the internet's most troubling and enduring enigmas. What do you think explains Chip Chan's extraordinary situation? Is this a case of genuine captivity, mental illness, or something else entirely? Please remember that behind this mystery is a real person who deserves compassion and respect, regardless of the truth of her claims. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay curious, stay safe,